Hey guys, what's up? I'm Weston. Welcome back to RWM Finance. What we're doing here, we're trying to help everybody achieve financial freedom. And today, what we're going to talk about is how to manage your money using the 50-30-20 rule. Okay, so you might be wondering what the 50-30-20 rule is. So the 50 stands for 50%, and 50% of your income is going to go to your needs. This whole thing is all about budgeting and understanding where your money is going in an ideal personal budget portfolio. Now, the 30 stands for 30%, and this 30% is going into what I would call like your wants. And for our last number 20, as you could have guessed, that stands for 20%. And that 20% is going into savings, paying off debt, or investing. So now we're going to break each of these numbers down from a fundamental standpoint, so you are able to understand them a little bit better. Now, the money that we're going to be dealing with in this money management 50-30-20 rule is your net income. So you may have like a gross salary of say like $50,000, but that number is going to be different from your net income. So your net income is the money that you take home after taxes. So to make your 50-30-20 budget, we're going to be using after-tax dollars or net income. This way, it'll be a more accurate representation of what you need to be doing. So now we're going to break them down by section. So the first section is 50%, and that 50% represents needs. So what would classify as some needs? Just think about some like regular living expenses that you would need to spend money on every week or month or something like that. We have groceries, housing, health insurance, utilities like electricity or water, and then I put like etc. because there's so many other things that could quantify or classify as needs. So if you're kind of struggling to figure that out, how would you define a need? So a need is something that would greatly inconvenience you or is something that you can't live without. You can't live without shelter, water, or food. So, those are definitely needs that you're gonna have to pay for. So when you're budgeting for your needs, these are some things that you should probably look at. Okay, so now let's break down the wants category. And wants represents the 30% number. So what's really considered a want? I feel like this is what most people are struggling with right now, trying to determine what the difference is between a want and what's a need. So if you do have trouble with that, you're not alone. There's plenty of people out there that are struggling to try and decipher between the two. So a want is something that causes a minor inconvenience. It's something that ultimately you really desire, but you don't really need it to survive or get on throughout your day. So some examples would be like shopping, going out and buying new shoes or going out and getting a new car or something, or those types of examples. Or the next example would be like dining out, and it's kind of like, I don't know, it's really easy for a lot of people to just hop in their car and go drive and pick something up instead of just cooking food at their home, and that really eats away at a lot of people's profits. And then another example would be hobbies, and everybody should have a hobby. Everybody needs to have something that they can go and do to get away from like work or something like that, whether it's fishing, whether it's golf, whether it's going hunting or painting or something like that. So this 30%, some of that money should go into your hobbies, if you need a new fishing pole or something like that. But you got to be careful and don't overspend on your hobbies or anything. Just remember, a want is something that can inconvenience you, but ultimately you can live without. But it really can help improve your quality of life. Now we're going to move on to our last category, and that is the 20%. And the 20% represents savings, investing, paying off debt. So an example of this would be like putting money away into an emergency fund. And an emergency fund is money that you use just strictly for emergencies, and what you want to have in that emergency fund is like 6 to 12 months of expenses. So if your monthly expenses for just you if you live alone, or your monthly expenses for your entire family if you have a family, or if you have someone that you're living with that y'all are both paying the same bills. So if all those expenses that you have come out to be, we'll just say $1,000 a month, then you should know that in that emergency fund you should have $6,000 to $12,000 worth of savings. This might sound like a lot of money to some people, but say that you get laid off, or say that your partner gets laid off, or someone has an unexpected hospital visit. Or take what happened with COVID-19. There was tons of people that lost their jobs, got furloughed or things like that. So I mean, they weren't able to make the same amount of money that they usually would. But that money that you save up in that emergency fund could really help you out significantly. Paying off debt is another example, and paying off towards student loans or credit cards or things like that. These are just debts that you should just demolish with that 20% of your income. Lastly, what you could do is invest with that 20%. There's things like retirement, or you could have your own portfolio. So if it's not a want or if it's not a need, then put it under the 20% category. So guys, that's the 50-30-20 rule and some examples that fall under each category. I know that it might be pretty basic for some of y'all out there, but sometimes the basic and simple things are the easiest things to follow. Now, you might already be thinking like, I follow that. I've got, 50% of my income in needs, 30% in wants, and 20% in investing, but you don't have it written down. That's the problem. So I would encourage you to write it down. Get a pen and a paper and write it down. Write down all your expenses, or get on your computer and go into like Excel or Microsoft Word and then write it down. It can be so easy for things to shift in the wants and needs categories. And those shifts might not be in things that are actually wants. Those needs that you really think you need, they might actually be wants, and now the needs category is overflowing. And this in turn could cause you to go into debt. So write it out, stick to it, and just get it done. Well guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, scroll down, give it a like, and subscribe to the channel below. If you have anybody that you think needs to hear something like this, a friend, a family member, please send it out to them, and just hopefully it'll help somebody out. If you have any questions, comments, leave those down in the comment section. I read everything, so hopefully I'll get back to you. Remember to check out the list of books in the description bar below. There's some really good ones down there, guys. Remember, I post videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, so make sure to tune back into the next one. I hope y'all have a good day. Thank y'all for watching, and I will see y'all in the next video.